scanning electron microscope images, thin section, core photos. So why this assignment is important is if you're working as an entry-level geologist or a data scientist in a geoscience organization, one of the things you'll be doing is basically storing and processing core logs in databases so that it will be easier for people to search subsurface using depth. So technically, let's say I want to understand what happens within certain depth. All I have to do is just say from depth A to depth B, can I see the picture of the core lobes? That's all I have to put down there. And what happens is the images just show me. I can actually use that to arrange, based on depth, how the subsurface look like. So it's really important. Now, if I power that information together with, you know, um, the core other petrophysical data or other reservoir screening data, it gives me a better picture of what the reservoir looks like. So it's really important. And it's complicated sometimes because sometimes the core log, the depth information is recorded inside the image itself. And sometimes it's recorded like in the file name when it's collected in the field. So, but the problem is it is just stored in drives and sent, to the office. So your job is basically processing this stuff and storing them in database. That's an important job. Before you start thinking of machine learning, you should be able to process the call logs, and that's what I'm trying to let you know how to do. Now, for this assignment, it's kind of simple. Why? Because first, the for call logs, you're looking at depth top and depth base. That's what you're looking at, and you have to arrange it based on the well names. So I could basically search for a particular well name, and for that well name, I could basically just say, okay, for this well name, I'll show you how we could build in that search into an interface. So I could immediately the information is stored in database, a front-end engineer can basically design a search engine that can actually search for well name. And within that well name, you can actually search for, you know, the depth range you want to see the core log arrange. And you just see them piling on top of each other. That way you're building a structure of the subsurface, even without being in the field. So it's a really, 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 really important data. So most of you are very keen, oh, machine learning, this, that. Before you get to just calm down. Machine learning is not even the big deal. Before you get to machine learning, you'll be processing lots of data, storing lots of information in databases, and working across, multiple types of geological data sets. So that's why it's really important. So it's not like I give you the assignment because I want to stress you. It's just me trying to make sure you know what you're doing. The first step here is basically processing the images, pulling out the depths, pulling out the site names. The second step is storing them into a Postgres database. That's value you've added. So we're just processing 1,602 data, like rows. In real life, for a particular field, you might be processing close to 10 million, 10 million core log information. So let's say you're working for let's say the Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, and they have basically one field in Ibocha, and they have given you all their data. And sometimes the process is even more complex. This one is quite simple. Sometimes the call logs are stored in reports, so you have to pull it out of the report. So you have to write. There's a lot of processing. Like the bunch of a data science job in the oil and gas is processing raw data. You have to pull it from files. Write codes to resize the images and how you want to store them. Assign well name to those information because the well name might not be given on the call log itself. The well name might be um in the same PDFs or Excel sheet or PowerPoint the call log was stored in. So you have to pull out the well name, then pull out the call log information and start arranging this stuff. And when you're processing for a lot of wells, this one is like a simple process because notice that um the since the public data, the people who did it already put the depth information the on the what's it called on the file name. So all you have to do is basically look at the file name, write programs to pull out the information, and a simple regex operation can do that for you. And you don't have to cram regex. You just have to go to ChatGPT and ask it, okay, looking at this pattern of this data, what would be the ideal regex operation to actually capture certain information? If that doesn't work, you combine it with rule-based algorithm, you could actually pull out the information. So I'm going to do the assignment. I'm going to show you how to store this information in database. Then we can start looking at, a more complicated process. The key thing here, see if you don't know how to process data, you can't even work in the industry. Like it's the biggest thing, no matter it's the biggest constraint we have in the oil and gas is processing raw data, like it's very, 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 very important. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So you need to understand how this is important. So I'm going to pull out, I'm going to start here. So from the assignment I gave to you, I told you, I think this guy has done it already, but I'll just do it for the class to see and and stop talking too much, hopefully. So do you have any question before I continue? Any question? Someone should say something. Any question before I continue?
No question from my hand.
Also, no question from my end as well.
Okay, the next person, basically.
No question, sir.
I'm okay, sir. We can
You're okay.
continue.
Okay, we continue. So I'm going to just come down here and, so I'm going to run this whole stuff. The assignment I give to you was simple, is this. So I'm going to show you, we're going to do a couple of things here. So here is prepare call log and loading database for easy search, handling process for core intervals, document storing database, build a classification machine. So we're going to do 3 processes. Now, I'm going to run this guy and we have something like this. So easy, right? So if I come down here for this guy, look at this guy now. So from the file name, you could see that the well name already, we've already pulled out the well name. The next thing we need to pull out is the depth. So it's showing you that for each of this one, the depth here is 3989 to 399, which is the depth, like the depth, the top depth and the base depth. Are you getting me? So how do we pull out this information? So the first thing first we're going to do here, simple for loop, like he was saying. For me, I prefer for loops than regex because basically you could define your logic the way you want. So, and I do dot values. Then I put like a for the in, and I print this. So I print it. So if I run this, what happens? You could see what's happening here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to split with the first thing first with dot. So if I split with dot and I run it, you could see it's going to give me an array. Are you getting me? Now, I don't want this JPEG because I know that's the file extension. I know the JPEG is file extension. Now, I can come here to see, okay, if I don't want the JPEG, what do I want? I want this first value, like this one. So from an array, if I'm looking at an array, the first logic here, if I'm indexing, this one here is number 0, this one is number 1. So I pick number 0, it's going to pull out all this value. Can you see? Then I split by, I come here and I split again by, what am I splitting by? So I'm splitting by underscore. So what happens here, if I split by underscore, it's separate. So I'm looking just for the last 2. Are you getting me? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this one depth. Let's see, first depth, top depth, top depth. And I'm going to call this one base depth. So just going to repeat the same thing. I don't have to just copy the same thing here, just for simplicity, so that both of them. Now, for the first depth, I'm looking at, so if I come down here, let me print the first one. Let me print top depth so you could see what's happening. It show me the same thing. So it's showing me the same thing, yeah, which is this. So I'm only interested in this, the first depth, this one. So how do I get the top depth? So the first depth here, I'll count 0, 1, 2, 3, right? Or I can start from the back, -1, -2. So if I pick here to be -2, right? -2, and I print top depth, it's going to give me only this one. Then for the other one, -1, which is the last one, that one will give me the base depth. So all I have to do is just create a simple like array, and I say depth top, and I do equal to, and I put this guy here, and I have depth base, and I put this guy here, right? Simple. So I think you guys, I have an order coming for me, so just in case I need to leave, okay. Yes, it's mine. So the next thing I'm going to do here is basically try to append each of this information into the array. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do depth top, and I do append, and I put the value of the top depth here, put this information here. So I copy the same thing here and I put it down here and I call this one depth base. What happens here is the information is being stored here. So I do base depth. So now I have all of them stored inside the array. So what do? I come to the data frame. It was called df, and I call this one, I call it depth. Let me call it top depth, top depth. And for my top depth, what do? I give it the depth top. And for my, remember, we're using df1, so I call this one df1 so that I don't make any mistakes. So I copy this one. I don't need to copy it. So I just do depth df1. Then I use the word base depth. Then, and for the base depth, what do? I call it depth base. Now, if that's the case, I run this guy. What happens is, you see, then I come down here to run this guy. So I call this one df1. So by doing this, what happens? I'm going to get, the value splitted out. So let me see. Okay. The value splitted out. You could see the top depth here and the depth base here. So I have the information I need, right? Now you could see I have the well name, but the depth. Are you getting me? So I could basically come here to just do a search and say, okay, I am looking for let's say df1. Then I do well name equal to what's my well name. So I pick this well name. I want to search only for this well name, and I put it here inside the string, and I look for only the depth associated with this well. So df1. So what happens? It runs and it stores. So it's showing me all, so 293 information. So for this, only for this well, and these are the depth top and depth base. All of them assigned to a file. So the next thing here is basically, now that we've arranged it, we need to store each of the images inside a folder, with the name of their depth, arranged in a way that a client can actually search for this data. Now, the actual image, and how do we do that? So we're going to use a library called Shortil. So we're going to go to ChatGPT. 1 minute. Let me check my food. Give me 1 minute, guys.
It's fine, sir. It's fine, sir. You can go ahead. Before our mentor comes back to continue, also I was supposed to talk about the basically the ground rules, where it said that during the classes you need to be like pay so much attention to what he's doing and what he's talking about, so that you'll be able to utilize this information to do well, or especially if an assignment is being given. And as regards your participation, attendance will be taken towards the Q&A session. So it's always nice for you to follow through until the last last event, and a link will be sent. I'll send a link where you are going to fill, so that it will show that yes, you attended the class, because there's a difference between, oh, you joined but you left due to one or two reasons and all that, and you're unable to fill in the attendance. So do well to stay tuned, do well to participate, do well to listen attentively, and then during the Q&A session, ask the questions you have. It doesn't have to be the most intelligent question, but just ask questions for the sake of getting clarity. It's always good to ask questions, so that it shows that you want to learn. It shows that you want to be different. It shows that you want to grow. So as well as you're doing that, you should also pay attention to the chat box. I would also let you know that the link to the attendance has been sent so that you'll be able to click on it and fill it. So while we wait for our mentor to show up, um, so that's basically all about the ground rules. So we
I'm
just
back.
have to wait.
I'm sorry.
Welcome, sir.
Sorry. I had to. I ordered pizza, so it's just remind to get it. So the next step here is basically, now that we have these images and we have the depth, we're going to generate like a code that basically handles the images. Now, to store this information in databases, what we usually do is basically generate what we
Hello, sir. Are you there? Hello, hello, sir. Sir, are you there?
I'm back. Sorry, I'm going to say
All right.
something, but you guys don't believe me.
Okay.
I've had pizza all my life, but this is the best pizza I've had in my entire life.
So what's the name of the pizza?
I have no idea. I just kept clicking on everything they showed me, but this pizza is mad. I'm sorry to say, but if you're hungry, it's not my fault. So now the next step is basically to generate a unique ID for each of these images, so that in case we store it in like a database, we can use that ID to track these images. Now, processing information in Jupyter Notebook is different, but storing them in databases entirely different thing entirely. So the best way I do it is basically I generate a unique code for each of the images. Then that unique code, I use a unique code to store the information in databases. So how do I do it? To generate unique code, I can simply just do something like this. I could just reset the index so that a code can be generated. I could do df1 dot reset index. So and in my reset index, I could do new df. Right? Now, what happens here? This can be one way, and I could just come here and do new df. And if I run this, you could see I have a code here generated for this index. I could call it that I could use this code, but I know that the maximum value here is 4 decimal place. Are you getting me? So what I'm going to do here is simple. I'm just going to come here. I'm going to do something like this. I'm going to do df.rename, and I'm renaming the columns. So if you don't know Python, it's not my fault. It's just the fact that, I call this guy index. And for the index, I could call this index guy, I could call it ID. Now I call this new df. And for my new df, and I could just run it like this. Now, but this is not all, I know that the value count is 4 decimal place. So I need to make sure everything looks 4 decimal place. Are you getting me? And how do I do it? And I don't want something to start with 0. It doesn't make sense. So how do I solve that problem? There's a manual approach. I could do new df, and I do ID dot values. Now the trick is most database help you generate stuff, but we're storing, just assume that you're doing this from scratch. You're employed into a Nigerian organization that has the data scattered, call log scattered everywhere. You've managed to extract the depth top and depth base from the document, assigning it to each of the one name, and you want to store them in databases. How do you go about it? So I could do for n in this, and for n in this, and I print the value of n. So if I do this, what happens? It brings out the value of n. So I could do something, I can convert this to string, and I say string so that it becomes a string, so I can count it. Now, if it's a string, I can say ID value. ID values is a string now. So I could do if the len of ID values is equal to 1, what do I do? Are you getting me? I'll do let's say print. Let me use the word print first so you could actually see it. Then I want to add multiple zeros in front of it. So I could have the ID values. Then I can have 1, 2, 3, right? This is 4. Then I can do elif. This is a very manual approach. If the len, you guys can go home and do it better. Values, is equal to. That means it's counting each of the length. Equal to 2. What happens? I could do print. And what do I do? Format a string. And I do ID values. And what happens here? I count 1, 2, right? Because it's 2. Now, elif, right? Elif, the len of ID values, I mean, if you count the ID values, is equal to 3. What should I do here? I do print format a string. And what do? I put ID values here. And for the ID values, what happens here? I put just 1 0 in front of it, right? Now, then else, just print the ID values. Now, we're going to make sense out of this. You could go, your assignment would be basically take this small stuff and find the better way to optimize it, because you can't be writing if and else condition. There is a better way to do it. You think about it and tell me. I could figure out a better way to do it, but just for you to understand what I'm trying to do, that's why I'm using if else condition. So what do I do next? I just print ID values. So let's see how it looks. And I run it. So you could see everything is 4 decimal, like 4. You could see everything is 4 decimal place. So now my problem now is not this. My problem is the fact that this guy is starting from 0. So how do I start this guy from 1? Now, that's another thing to figure out. So let's think. How do we start it from 1? So I could come down here and say, for me to start this from 1 so that everything makes sense, I can do new df ID. Let me come down here. So this is ID dot values. I can come here and do for J in, then I can print J plus 1. Now the trick is, what happens for each of them, it adds 1. So instead of it to be 161, it becomes 162. So I could store this information here. I can call it new IDs. And I can come down here to see new IDs. New IDs dot append. First of all, let me just do something like this. Add data. And I can do new IDs dot append. And what am I appending? Add data. Now, all I have to do is just pull this guy and I do G+1. So, and I come down here and I replace this guy and I do new df, and I'm picking ID, and for that ID, I am equating it to what new ID, right? So if I run this, what happens? And I come down underneath and I run this new ID. Now, what happens here is it changes the entire new df. It changes so you could see instead of 0, the ID starts from 1. Now I can apply this code here. So it becomes, you could see. Now, for me to make this make sense, I could just basically call this, let me see, value, right? This next one, I could call this value. The next one, I could call it value. Then I could just start here and start doing, let's create IDs. And for those IDs, I could do IDs dot append, and I do value. For this one, I just repeat the same thing so that I don't, you're going to optimize this for me as part of your learning goals. Then, because this is bad software. So IDs, and that's it. So now for this one, I'm going to pick this one here and I replace it here. It should be IDs dot append. So instead of appending values, I'm going to append ID values and that's it. So if I run this automatically, so I'm going to come down here and just create a simple, so I do new df, and for my new df, I do ID, which is the name of this guy, equal to IDs. So if I run this and I call new df, what do you think will happen? It's going to create the new, so you can see I have an ID created for each of them, right? So the ID basically makes it unique to identify each of, the depth. So technically, now since I have an ID, I could store this in database because now I have an ID to actually track the information. Now, the next step here is basically, I need to create like a file blob where I could store these images in a clean format. And when I mean a clean format, I want all the site name, all the well name to be able to use to store the information. And how is that possible? So think of it this way. Now, let's come here and use the search word here. So let's try this. Then we can iterate it so you can actually see how it works. Now, I'm going to come here and import Shortil. I'll explain what I'm trying to do. Import Shortil. Don't worry, we'll soon be over. No, it's looking like they're doing a lot. Import Shortil. Now, Shortil is imported. Now, if I pick this data, if I pick this one, right? Now this is for, let's call it, this is for well. This is for well 6464063_2, and this for the well. Now, right? Now I want to store all the images here. Well, I want to store all the images, inside the folder, called the name of this well. Are you getting me? Now I want all the images, but I want the image name, to be the name of the depth, the top depth, and the base depth. That's how I want it to be. Are you getting me? So I want all the images stored inside a new folder, right? Now, and if I want that to happen, how do I do it? Now I'm going to generate, I'm doing this for one, then I'll turn it into a function and use the function, So what I'm going to do here is basically create image code. So image code is different from, let me use new df, sorry. sorry, new DF. So my mistake, not your mistake, sorry. So if I run this, what happens? So you could see I have the IDs and I have the top depth and the base depth. So now for this guy, what I'm going to do here is basically just create an image code. And what's an image code? So image code will help me. So I pick this guy and I call it image code. The image code will help me segregate this information properly. And what will it do? I'm going to pick this guy, right? And it picks the ID first, ID, right? Then let me use formatted string. Okay, ID, and I do something like this, plus underscore, plus, I take this guy and I call it top depth, right? And I pick this guy, the same, I pick this guy, plus, underscore, plus, then I paste this guy here. So I call this depth, base depth. So if I run through this guy here, now it gives me something like this. So I just pick this guy. Now it's going to create a genuine image code that we can use as a new file name. Are you getting me? So if I run this, so the image code now is basically the ID of the image that we've generated, the image depth and the image. Why are we doing like this? The idea is basically we want to enforce uniqueness for each of the image so that even if the depths are the same, across different file names, the image code, will tell you that this depth was taken from a different number. If that's not clear, don't worry, we're going to come down. We're just doing for one that I'm going to use as a function and iterate for the rest. Please, okay, ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot so far. So I've been getting the code, but for this last one you did, the way you generated the image code, I know you did a kind of concatenation, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't really understand that last code, the way you generated the image code. The results, we achieved the results though, but the code itself, I don't know if you can do a little explanation. Thank you.
So it's called concatenation, you're right? What I'm just simply doing is I'm taking the ID, I'm adding it with using an underscore with the depth up and the depth base. All these are columns. This, and the ID. So I'm just adding all of them together using the underscore. Simple. It's a pandas method.
Yeah. I get it now. I get it now. Thank you.
Okay. Let me continue.
So did you just say it is not concatenation or is concatenation?
It's concatenation.
Okay. All right.
So, guys. So, now looking at this, the next thing we're going to do is basically maybe create a folder, and the folder part will help us, store this information inside where we want to do it. Let's do it. I'm coming. I'm going to show you a trick, a small trick. So we're going to do something like this. So we've imported Shortil. The next thing we're going to import here is import OS. And the next thing we're going to do here is, I think that's all. So for me, the first thing first here is I'm going to create what they call source file. Now, where's the source file? The source file is basically the image file part, this one here. Let me just make it empty. I'm going to come down here and do destination folder. And if that's the case, I'm going to make this empty because I'm going to create the folder. Now, The trick is, if I want to create the folder, I can come down here, and from my terminal, let me just come down here. Let me make it bigger. Sorry, that's the problem with using a Unix-based system. So if I do ls here, and I do cd document, you could, in your Windows, you don't have to do this. CD desktop. You just have to go and create a folder. I just want to create a folder. Don't mind me showing myself. So here, the name of this folder is the name of your class. What did I call it? What's the name of your class? Call it Lecture Hub Series. I think we should have something like that here. Lecture Hub Series. If you see it, let me know. It's not here. Learning files. I think it's in learning files. The ls. It's not a learning file. Okay, now even if it's not a learning file, yeah, I could do cd back. I could make a directory in the desktop. So let's call it core images. Core images. Call it data. Now, if I do ls here, what happens is I can cd into the core images data. You don't have to do this. You could just use your Windows machine to just, then if I do ls, you could see I'm here, it's empty. So if I do pw, present working directory, I could just copy the folder name, and I come back to my code and put it here. So this is where I want the file to be stored, destination folder, right? Now the next step here is, what about the source file? The source file is the file path. I'm going to do that in a bit. Now, I'm going to do this for one of the files, so you see what's happening here. Then we automate it for all of them. So if I pick this guy and I do, let me just pick one. Then I call this guy file path. Then I do .ilog 0. And that's it. You can see this is one image. So let's say I copy this just for the first one. I copy this guy. I'll help you with this. Just hello guys, 1 minute. Let me just do something quickly. Okay, guys, I'm back. So now this is the far part. So all I have to do is just take this guy, from here, and I put him here because now I know what the far part is. So I put him here. So now I just want to copy one image inside this folder. And how do I copy? So I do os.make directory. So why am I making directory? Just in case, the folder is not there. It will create this folder for me, destination folder, right? And if it does that, and if he exists, I can say exist okay. If he exists, true. That means if he exists, good, leave it. If he doesn't, create. Then I use the word shortil. shotil.copy. And what am I copying? The source file, and copy it into destination folder. Now, all I have to do is come down here and do print file copy successfully if it worked. Success. And then I check this for 1. Now, if I run this, if everything works very well, and I run this to success, and how do I prove that? I'll have to do is come down here. Sorry, to my what am I looking for? To my, then I go to desktop, and for the desktop, I'm looking at core images. Is it what I created? Desktop, not this one, core image data. So you notice it's just one image there, which is that one you copied. So this is this one. So good, that means he copied. So, but that's not what we want. We want to do for all of them. So I could delete this guy, delete. Let's move to bin now. This, yeah. So I could delete it and come back to my, I could delete it and come back. So now I've deleted it. Now I want to do for all of them. So all I have to do is come down here. I want to copy just for all of them. I could come down here and use a for loop. Just wrap it inside a for loop. For J in range, and what's the name of this data? I could do something like this. Then I do .ship now, and I pick 0. Then I do something like this. So I'm going to explain why I'm using .ship and 0. Then all I have to do is put everything inside of this guy and click on tab. Now, here, I'm going to change here, instead of 0, I'm going to change it to G. So I'm going to show you why I'm doing .ship. So if I pick only this one, just to show you what the result will look like, and I put it here, what do you think is happening here? It's telling me that the shape is 293. So what's happening, you're iterating across 293 data, 293 data, and you're storing that information where it's supposed to be. Now, there might be a problem. Let's see if there'll be a problem. I don't think there'll be a problem. But if there's a problem, I'll let you know. Now, the next step here is basically just run this code and see if they give me an error. So success. Everything has been stored inside of that folder. So I just have to come down here, go to that folder, and you could notice that all the images have been stored into that folder. So just to prove one more time, I go to desktop, name of the folder is core image data. You could see so into the folder. But this is not what I want. I want a situation whereby it will be arranged properly. So instead of storing into the folder, I want it to create like a mini folder called this folder. I want you to call the folder the name of the well. The name of the well. Are you getting me? So the well is this. This is the name of the well. And it should store it inside this folder, inside that well. So if I come down here and Control A and I delete everything to bin, move to bin. Now I come back to this code. Now, so that what do I do here? Since I know the well name, I can come here and say, what's the well name? The well name for this guy here might just be, for me to get the well name, might be, let me come here and do well, and I do well name so that everything tallies. I do dot unique. So if it's dot unique, this is the well name, just this. So this is the well name. So technically this becomes a well name. So I could come down here and say, okay, for this guy, what's the well name? So I can come here and say, and here I change this guy to formatted, and here I call it well name. You see why I'm doing it like this, so that when I'm automating it, it's easier, right? So if I run this one more time, gives me success. Then I go back, you notice something has changed. And what has changed is the folder storage. You could see it created a folder, the well name. And if you open that folder, you see this file. Now, what am I doing like this? So that when I have other images, I can store them in different name of their well name. So now let's take this code and iterate it for everything. Are you getting me? So now how do we iterate it for everything? Here, the first trick first is basically understanding what we're supposed to do. So I'm just going to come down here, highlight it, and and run it. So then I come down here. So let's iterate for everything. First thing first, I'm looking at new df, right? So I'm looking at new df. And for new df, this is what I get, right? Now for my new df, how many well name do I have? That's the first thing first I'm going to ask myself. So I'm going to choose my well name. So I'll do new df. So I pick my well name. And for that well name, what happens here? Then I come down here to see dot unique, right? Now, simply means I have 3 unique well names. So if I have 3 unique well names, now if I want to put that in terms of code, right? So how do I put that so that it suits what I am doing? So remember, I'm going to pick my import shortil and everything I need. And I'm going to just put it here. I'm just going to keep it here. And this is what I'm going to do. So I run this guy. This gives me what I want. Now, I come down here. The next step, I just copy what I've been doing so far here. So the next step is I'm not choosing for a particular well. Now I want to do for all of them. So I pick this guy. And for this guy, what am I doing here? If you don't understand, I'm sorry, but it's just so I change this guy to change your occurrence to df1 so that I can create. So I call this guy df1. First of all, sorry, new df. So I do something like this. New df. So the same thing I've been done for all of them at once. How many guys? Please. So can you hear me? Sorry, can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, we
So
can hear you.
Yeah, I'm a bit distracted today. Please forgive me. So
it's fine. It's fine.
so we've created an image code for everything. Notice now this one is 1062. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come back to, because we iterated for one, we're going to say, okay, we don't care about just one well name, we want to do for all of them. So what do we do? So we're going to ask ourselves, how do we iterate this stuff? So I'm going to come down here, pick this guy. Put this guy here. Now, since we know all the well names we have and what are the well names we have, we've created a list of them, which is I could come down here and see convert this to list. So this is the well name we have. And the next thing I do is print well name. Well name used, so you can actually see what it looks like. Now, this is the well names. So instead of doing this for one, I could come down here because I did this and Then I came down here to do this. Oh, this is going to be a long one. Wow. And I came down here to do this. So instead of doing this for one, right, I'm going to say, I'll comment this one first because we're going to use them intermittently. So I'm going to say for well, in well name used, right? Let me come down here and just tab this guy and df well and so what do I do here for each of those well? So I put here well, right? Now instead of me do tab now everything here. So instead of this particular well name, right? I'm going to do this guy. If it doesn't work, you take it as assignment. So I'll do df well, right? So for each of those well name, get the unique value. Then for each of here, I'm going to use df well. Oh, I was trying to start. So hopefully this works. I don't know if it will work, but hopefully it works. So what I'm going to do here is simple. I'm going to come down here and delete everything I have here. If it works, I'll just leave you guys and go and sleep. And I delete this folder, move to bin, and try this and hope it works. So if this doesn't give me success, it's not my fault. So success for all of them, but let's be sure. Let's come down to the folder if it creates. So you see, it created 3 folders, and those 3 folders, the images for those folders are there. You could see. Notice if I come to the last one, you notice that. So what you've simply done is basically you've automated the process. So you see how you cleanly store each of the well image inside folders, for client to use. That's the first step. Now, usually what we do in the industry is basically we push this stuff into what they call an Azure repository, an Azure blob, where it is stored in the cloud. And a path is generated, and we can use that path to for the UI. Like we could basically build on that, create an API based on this, so that I can. In fact, let me do that. Now that we've done that, so we've created. This one has worked. So I just have to comment it. So we've done for all of them at once for each of the well name. Let me run it. So now the next step we're going to do here, we've created the well name. Now we don't need this part anymore. Are you getting me? Because we've created a clean part. So what we need now is a new part. And what's the new part? The new part is where the core data resides. So here, I'll come down here and do this new part, and I do arrow. And I do, let me see, let me do os.list dir new path. So we need to see how the values look like. So these are all the folders. So I'll do for J in print J. Let's see what happens here. So I don't need DS store. So I'll do if dot, what's the time? Dot DS. Maybe our next class would store in database. If the DS not in J. So I do something like this, and I print. What am I printing here? I print J. So let's see what happens. So these are the file names. Now, The point is I need to add it with the file path so that it makes sense. So I do F here, then I do new path, then I do something like this, and I put the file path here, and I close this guy, and I print. So you can see the file path. Now I can call this file paths, but these are not the file paths to the images, right? So what do I do to get the file path to the images? I'll do print os.list dir for each of the file paths, right? Then I run this. So it's going to bring out three of the file paths. So what I'm going to do here is simple. So I'm going to do for B in, and I'm going to print this. Print B. Now, you see, now I'm going to do, it's just showing the image itself, but I want to put the image and the file path. So I'll do formatted string. I'm going to put the file path that I created in this, the file path, which is this one. Don't worry, when you're studying it, you understand. A lot of it I can explain to you because of the Python nomenclature, like your Python, what am I saying? Your Python knowledge. So these are all the file paths for each of those images. Now I want to store this now inside the data frame. Then I can say paths. And for my paths, all I have to do is come here and call this D. And I can see paths dot append. What am I appending? I'm appending D. Now I'll come here and do pd.dataframe, and I call it paths. Now remember, I call this df, so let me remove this. I call this df, paths. Now, if I see df paths, what happens here? Hopefully everything works the way it should. Okay, so let me pick dot columns. Let me see new file path. Now, and I call this df path. Now, if I run this, what happens? Now, if I come down here to do dot iloc, now this is the new file path, right? The new file path, obviously. But the new file path, let's see if we can get any information from it. Let's do new file path, right? And what do I do? Dot iloc. Let's pick 0. Let's just see one of the information and see what happens. You can see 1556. Are we sure we got this properly? So core data folder. Let me see if that's the problem. 6506 12. Let's go back to the folder and see how it's arranged so that we can be sure what we do. So 6506 12. Then the name of the, okay, I see how it's arranged here. What about the ID? We didn't put the ID inside. Well, does it matter? Because we've created an ID, so we have to use it. So I see what happened here. This is correct. This is totally correct. Don't get me wrong. Just calm down. I don't want to bomb you with a lot of information. Now, we're going to run this again. But now, this is the source file. This is the source file. Sorry. this is the source file. So what we're trying to do, it's just, Miriam, can I call you in a minute? I'm in a meeting right now. Is it possible? So what we need to do is we need to what I want us to do is basically I want us to save it using the image code so that it has an image code. So it's saving it using the source file. It's using the source file path iloc j. But I want us to use yes. So it's saving using the image code. So, but does it really matter? Okay, that will be your assignment. Let me just mark it so that you do that for me. Remind me so that I'll just add it. So I think let me see if this worked. Okay, this worked. This is 6.5. Where did I have that folder? This is 6.5. 6.506.12.5, which is this. Yeah. Then the depth stop and depth base. Okay. This worked. So that's how I'm saving it. Okay. Yeah, that's how I'm saving it. So it's correct. So this is correct. Now, but what I want you to do, like the assignment you're going to do, you're not going to save it the way I saved it. I don't want us to use the same name. Rather, I want us to use the image code like we generated to save it. Are you getting me? But so that it can be unique. I'm trying to see how we could do that. File name. We see, are we using the file name? This will stress me, so I'm not going to do that. So I don't have strength to go through the code one more time. So let me come down here and do df part. I think we're good. So df part, this is the new part we just created. And for the new part, and I want to join this new part with the, I want to join it with, I want to join it with this old one so that the new part will be the part we're going to access. So I'm going to leave that for you guys to do. So the first assignment.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm coming. Just 1 minute. First. You're going to use what I'm going to explain what you're going to do. First tax. 1, merge df parts with new df using the image code. That's all. It covers both of them. So I'm going to explain what I want you to do, then answer your question. So I'm going to start explaining what we've been doing so far. So then answer your question. So what we're just doing from here basically was to rearrange the file inside a clean folder structure so that it will be stored the way it's stored like this, the well name and the call logs inside. So that if I'm searching for call logs, all I have to do is come and look at the well name and open the well name. And basically I can see all the call logs inside the well name. You could see how this is arranged by the depth already. 4184 to 4185, 4185 to 4186, 4186 to 4187, just like that. If I come here, the same thing too. 393103. So just like this, so that it's easier for a client to come here and say, okay, I want to take this call log and basically build, to understand what happens during drilling, to see the strata. So this is how we arrange it. But what I want you to do, I saved mine using the original file name pattern, but I don't want you to save it using the file name pattern. Rather, I want you to save it using the image code pattern. Are you getting me? That's all already, because you don't have to create. Why? Because here we already have the well name. So I don't want the well name to be part of the naming. Rather, the image code should be the one up, then followed by the well name. So that's what I want you to do. Now, when you've done that, this new part we've created, which is this, because if I pick this part, I can easily find any of the files. I want you to use it to replace. That's why I say merge, replace it with the old part, because then when we do it, then we can actually now store this information in the database. Now ask your questions. You're confused, that's totally okay. Very okay. Just ask the questions you want to ask. I'm listening.
Okay. Thanks a lot. To start with, I just wanted to there was a place you did the df dot columns,
Mm.
and you equated it to a string, to a
Where is it?
string.
Let me
So
go.
I don't know where it is. So my question is, I understand that for that particular DF, we only have one column.
Yeah,
So in a multi-column DF, can you do a thing like that?
that's what I'm looking for. What you asking me.
Okay.
If you see it, let me know.
Okay, you've passed it. I think you've passed it. I think the next. Oh no, this rename column.
This one.
No, no. Just keep going down.
Let me
Keep
comment
going
this
down.
one. This one is test case for one well. Test case for one well. Then we stopped there. Then we started here and see for all well. So that when you're looking at it, where?
Go down. I don't know. Down. Down. Okay. See it there. The
Where?
second to the last no,
Here?
yeah, that's there. Yeah, the second to the last
Mm,
line of code. You
this one.
said df dot parts dot columns equal to, then you opened a list and you did the new file path. I don't know if you've seen it.
Is it
No,
def down?
down.
This
The
one.
second to the, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So okay, for
Yeah.
multiple columns here, we can do it if the column name it's like if it's two columns, like if there are two columns, so I'll have to put the second column name.
Okay.
Are you getting me? If
Just
it's
in
three
form of
columns,
a
yeah,
list.
in a form of a list, so that it just captures.
Okay. Then one more request. I don't know. Can we get this your notebook?
Yeah, sure. I was hoping someone would request. Yeah, sure, I can share it to you guys. That's the whole idea.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Is there a way someone who knows Python can actually like do a crash course with the guys so that they can catch up? Because the next step is basically trying to load the metadata into a database, and building a small UI using Streamlit to search for the core photos and arrange them the way a petrophysicist will want to see those data. So
Okay.
someone who knows Python should basically help, and at least so that you realize that these are the kind of value you create in an organization, by building this kind of solution.
All right, sir. I think Samuel spoke about it earlier, so we'll just put our heads together to
Okay.
see what we can do about it.
Now remember the
Then,
assignment. Okay, the assignment is just simple. I don't want the information to be stored like this. It's stored well, correct, but I don't want the well name to be in front of it. Rather, I want the image code that we used, to be used. Are you getting me? So you see this one, the well name is, but I want the image code to be used to store the file. So figure out how you can do that. And it's actually a simple trick. Are you getting me? So if you figure it out, you've won a lot.
One more thing, sir.
Yeah, please, yeah.
I don't know. This may sound shameful, but the data we are using, I don't think I have access to it.
No, I've shared it. Can you ask these guys to download it? Someone download it and give it to you. Well, I would have to give you access to it, if possible. Download it and give it to you guys. I made the access available. I'll check
Is
my
it on Drive or?
yeah, I kept it on my drive. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Any more questions? I know it's not easy to actually grab this stuff. I'm talking fast. I'm writing the code fast, like you guys are working with me. But the truth is, it is what it is. I can't. If I spend the weekends trying to teach you for loops, we won't achieve anything. The goal is for me to actually be applying it in the project, even if you don't understand. So that when you're learning it, you know that, okay, there's a practical application of what I'm learning. I don't know if you understand me. If not, we'll just end up tomorrow we'll be talking about list comprehension, for loops, functions. And at the end of the day, you really haven't seen like how valuable this can be. The next step is basically in our next class, we're going to load this into a Postgres database. Then we're going to build a Streamlit. I'm going to build it before time, like a Streamlit UI that can consume data from the Postgres database and show you how the logs can be arranged, based on their depth, and how a petrophysicist can interpret this information. Like you see the image of the logs based on their depth too, and how that information can be interpreted. So any question?
Yes. Okay. Okay, sir. It's just on this library you use Shotil, so I think I'm seeing that for the first time. So you didn't talk more about that. So if you can
It's
just
just a
shed
normal library. It's
more
just
light on it.
it's just it helps you copy files, from your operating system from one point to another. That's all it does, you know. So it's really good when it makes life easy.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Nothing serious. Python has a lot of libraries. I think there might be another one for you, but this is the one I use all the time. You can notice how fast it is.
Yes, yes, very, very fast. So I think it's good. I just don't want to find this about it and
Okay.
best to optimize it.
Mm. The
The
trick,
usage.
yeah, the
Mm.
trick about this thing is, to be honest, the trick about learning how to code is not about learning how to code. It's about solving problems with the codes you have learned. That's the trick, and that's the mistake most of us did make. Learn our code is not an artistic way to show that you know how to write or draw or write poem. Oh, my code is nice. Nobody cares about that. Learn how to code is basically solving a problem. So that's why you have to be problem oriented. Like, as you're learning how to code, you're looking at it. Okay, what problem am I trying to solve? Are you getting me? So that's why I am taking this approach. This might not be the best approach because most of you haven't really coded before, but trust me, it's going to strain you to understand. But when you finally fix the pieces together with the small one you've learned, you realize that it's easier for you to actually build small projects around it. We're not building any complex software app. We're just basically solving a problem to make it easier for you to actually search for logs within the subsurface. So, and that's just it. So it's just what it is. So think of it that way. So, okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
very
Thank
okay,
you.
sir.
Okay. Let me let you guys then. I don't know what to say. I'll drop the Jupyter notebook maybe I'll send it. Somebody should just send me the email. I'll send it to the person's email. Then I'll drop it. Then you can ask for it later. You could ask the person to send it to the classroom, Google Classroom. It's okay. See you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
See you.
Okay.
Any question
Thank
if I go?
you. Just a reminder, the link to the drive.
You drive. Okay. Do anybody have it? Can you share it with him?
Yeah, the link is still
Send
in the group. Just
send to the
scroll up.
group.
Yeah, it's still there. Except you
Okay.
just joined recently, but the link is there.
Can you just help me highlight it? So I don't know
All right,
if you can highlight
all
it.
right, all right,
It's
no.
been we check the group right now. It's been posted there. Just check.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So,
Okay, sir.
be
Can
honest.
you make
Yeah.
the co-hosts before you
Co-host.
leave?
Okay. How do I do that? Um, settings and if I leave, a co-host will be automatically handed to someone else. So let me see participants. If I just leave, someone will. Let me see. What's your name?
Joel, sir.
Joel. Okay, Joel. Okay. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to say is this is Joel. I've made you a co-host. Now, one thing I want to say is okay, just make sure your SQL database is, set up. I'll show you how to build Python programs that can actually help you load data to, you know, database. We call those stuff data pipelines. So I'll show you what it means to stage, and basically to load data in databases. And basically, I'll show you how to create QC rules, to catch QC before they are stored in databases. Then finally, at the end of the day, you build an interface that can consume the data you've stored into that database, and maybe play around with, like I said, build simple petrophysical tool that can, show how the logs are being stacked together and how we can interpret that information. So that's just it. So guys, you guys have been fantastic today. I've been the one jumping up and down, but thank you for being amazing. See you some other time. So okay.
Yes, very
Yes,
okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. I really enjoyed
Okay.
the class.
Thank you. How do I leave now? It's difficult. So I don't have to end it. Like, okay, I can just leave.
Yes, you can leave, sir.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Okay, hello guys. I'm pretty sure you guys enjoyed the class. I mean, so I wanted to push forth for a particular an idea though. If we could have like an office session maybe this week for those that are quite knowledgeable in Python. Maybe if you've been able to do the tasks or the assignments, you might want to like we just like hop on in normal. It doesn't have to be on Google Meet or Zoom. It can be on WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp has a feature where you can do a video call and share your screen, right? Or I don't know. Maybe it could
Yeah,
be
it
a
does.
Google Meet.
It does. It does.
Uh, okay, so that would be. I don't know if that idea makes sense.
I think it's a very nice idea, especially for we that don't really know, that are not really like very good at it, that are still learning. I think it's a very nice idea. But with WhatsApp be really like a very good place to do it.
It's just a suggestion. If WhatsApp is not okay, then we could use a different platform.
It's a nice idea too.
Okay. Because like when I was in school, I learned more from tutorials than even from lectures. So yeah, I feel that you seeing your fellow mates teaching about a particular topic, you tend to understand things more than.
But just a question. If we are to hold this class, what are we to actually discuss? Is it the notebook he will be sharing with us or the Python basics? Because we actually need to have a direction. And presently, I feel what most people actually need is the basics. So which one are we focusing on?
But I believe that for the basics of Python, some videos were already shared now. Or is it that watching those videos doesn't will not give like I feel that the videos are very much straightforward. And I've been for the past like 2 months, I've been associating myself with a lot of developers, and one of the things that they usually do tell me is that the best way to learn is to by solving or working on projects. And one thing I understand about Python is not something that you have to be cramming codes or anything like that. The deeper you go, the less you even know. Like there are some things you don't even know, and the more you search on it, the more you solve problems. Like like there's this guy I'm working with. He's currently the head of tech in the company I work for, and he says that he has learned close to 7 programming languages. And if you ask him if you to repeat a particular task or something like that, he'll tell you that he doesn't even know what he did. But if he starts the process, you'll see that, oh, he did this, he has done this, he has done this, he has done this, he has done this. So I feel that just for the fundamentals, just go watch those videos. You just grab the little that you can. But when it comes to solving these tasks, you do it, you make mistakes, you look at it. Thank God that VS Code has a lot of
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying, but my question is, what would be the structure of the class? What are we to feed on? Do you get? That's my question. Is it the notebook he intends sharing with us, or do we have any other content?
it's basically the
So,
project that we're working on, the assignments now. It has to just be
okay,
on the assignment.
just the assignment, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Is there any do anyone has have any opinion, or maybe you would want us to work on not just the assignment itself? Hello, Vivo.
Um,
Opelua, what's going on? Samuel.
Hi, hello, I can hear you.
So you
Yeah.
guys have been quiet. You've been quiet. You've been too quiet. I don't like it. So I need say something. Say something.
And like it's okay. Like the class is going to be fine because me too. I've been trying, but I keep making mistake, and I think it's because I don't have like a strong background in Python. Like look at the other day now. I never knew that I was supposed to use Git Bash for like the whole stuff. Like until you told me, I was so confused. I thought I was supposed to use VS Code or Python itself. So I think it's a good idea.
Okay. So when do you what days do you want us to hold this?
It has to be when we have to like maybe make a poll or something. Maybe you can create a poll on WhatsApp. Then you can like have an idea of when people will be available. Then the one that is like common between everybody. Oh,
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Also, I'll just drop people so that we could just go vote and what time is basically convenient. But for me, I would prefer like 2 days before the next meeting. That's the next, which will be either on Thursday or on Friday, and same time in the maybe around 7 p.m. because I feel like everyone would be done with work. And then lastly, as regards the attendance, there's not going to be any link shared. So what I just did was I just took a screenshot of everyone that participated. So I'm going to share it down to Miss Aisha so that she's going to like send it down to the founders so that they could update the official attendance list. If that's what I have to say concerning that. So anyway, as regards the classes, like I said, I'm gonna drop a poll so that we could feel that feeling. And yeah, that's it. That summarizes everything that we've talked about. So I wish you guys an amazing night. Hopefully, once you sleep, most of the Python codes begin to come into your head and all that. So for me, it's actually very, very refreshing. I really enjoyed this class. I mean, the more problems, the more you will learn. So yeah. Do have a wonderful night. We'll get to reassemble next week, Thursday or Friday. Take care of yourself.